What up, people? It's your boy, Master Chudy, out here with another comic review. And so we finally reached it. It's hard to think this was 2 years ago that it began Doomsday Clock, but we've reached 12 out of 12. But it's finally come to an end, and I will say that it was definitely worth the wait. It was long, and maybe people think that, the amount of time it took to have it released might have brought down its value of a good story, but I think it was pretty good. And so we have the last picture of Superman with blood on his symbol, and I have to say that it's very hard to keep up. And we see that basically the story ends February 2020, and there's supposed to be something happening in 2025, but we'll see. And let's get through it. So we see that Dr. Manhattan, what he saw was that apparently he would destroy Superman, destroy the world, or Superman would kill him. And he remembers how he fell in love with his wife and how he was trapped in the chamber and how through that he gained and became Dr. Manhattan. And he remembers everything in July 2019. Janie's breath is in my ear. Her broken watch sits on my hotel nightstand. It's August. The light is taking me to pieces. So pretty much this is what happened before he became Dr. Manhattan. And now he remembers what he said in 11 minutes and 57 seconds. It will all end. In an effort to understand the nature of Superman and the metaverse, I reached into history. And now this world has turned against me like an invading virus, sending me toward an unavoidable collision with its greatest antibody. And then they finally meet. Hello, Superman. It's like, who are you? It's like, I'm the one you're going to destroy, or I'm the one who's going to destroy everything. And Superman, before he can go, the other supers basically what happened in Moscow, which was caused by Firestorm freaking out. They think that Superman's with them, and so Russian superheroes come in to bring Superman to justice for that mistake. And we see that Markovia with Geoforce and Terra come in to stop him as well. It's like, you have done much good in the world, Superman, but that cannot excuse the role you played in the attack that left scores of my people dead. And he's like, we see Black Adam with the other metas that sided with him. Like, Superman will be held accountable, but Kondak will be the nation that does it. Fight not for a government that wants to control you because it fears you. Join me in my nation and be free. And then we see that this guy's like saying, "Yeah, I'll never betray my country." And so Doctor Manhattan is just watching, saying, November 2nd, 1985, I watched Lori hold Daniel Draper close, her mascara mixed with tears, his naked skin protruding with her comfort. In October 1985, I dropped a photograph on Mars, leaving it all behind. It is April 18th, 1938. Superman holds a car over his head. So he's just going through history. And Superman's pleading with them, hey, they're innocent people in the area. And Black Adam's like, since when has that ever stopped your country? And so he sees that history's starting to change, saying that apparently April 18th, 1938, there's no car. And then we see that this guy's like saying that with the Justice League still on Mars fighting the being who they claim is truly responsible for the explosion, this is what happened. In Moscow, the Prime Minister has ordered the Knights to protect America's interests. What those interests exactly are remains clear. So Russia apparently sent these people to say, "Hey, let's help America." So we see that Superman is now trying to prevent both sides to basically kill each other. We see that Australia has decided to provide their meta-human resources to America, and this guy's still fighting them basically. Um, so we see that Israel is doing the same thing. That they're getting their meta-human program has been exposed, and Black Adam can still only see Superman. In 10 minutes, the colors of the world will melt away, and there's nothing but darkness. But now we see that Reggie, Rorschach 2.0, still disillusioned after what Ozymandias had done to him, lied to him, and used him. He's just there pitying. I get this unlikable character here, try to kill try to kill Reggie, but good old Alfred comes back in, and it's good to see Alfred because you know of what happened with Tom King killing it off. But I love Alfred, so he helps Reggie, knocks him out, and Reggie's like saying, leave me alone. It's like, where would I be if I did that? I require your assistance. Superman does. You're the only one who can help us find Ozymandias before it's too late. And he's looking at the mask, like, say, I don't know whose face that is. Yes, I say, you don't know whose face that is. Like, yes, I do. I've read his journal. His name was, and he's like, no, don't say his name. Rorschach was pretty much a monster. He was filled with emptiness. Eyes were closed. They're now open. I see the truth. Superman's still fighting. Your world's going to end like mine. It will unless we do something. And then we see Iran is calling Superman a war criminal, and they want to make an example of him. Say, look at the mask. Do you see what I see? I see pieces of rock floating in space. I see no future. I see no hope. And Superman can't do anything to stop it. And basically, the people of Kahndaq are fighting the Russians, metahumans, and so it's chaos in the streets of Washington, D.C. And I see that Reggie is losing hope. Basically, my father used to wake me up every morning with a smile on his face. He'd tell me no matter what came my way to make the most of it, and Superman's still losing the battle. He believed it was good to be found everywhere and everyone. We just had to look for it. And Ozymandias is just busy watching us work. This dude who was captured, I think this might have been Alan Scott. We had to help each other to see it. Never gave in to dark thoughts, but some people can't see the good. Ozymandias, they only want to see everyone else suffer with them. Saturn Girl, as you know, was wiped out of this timeline due to some what Ozymandias did. It's like, and they're going to win. The world is drowning in hate and anger, sides separated by an ever widening cannon of digital blue. Soon, both factions will tumble off the edge, falling into a bottomless pit of liberal self righteousness and outdated identity politics. Interesting. Hands clutching their weaponized phones, finding no olive branch to save them. Whoa, this is interesting because neither side knows what that means anymore. Lost sight of Superman now, as reports confirm he is fighting alone, and Lois is freaked out. It's like, why not let this ugly world destroy itself before we're dragged down into the darkness with it? So Reggie's like, man, there's no hope for the world. I gave you this speech, end it. But then we see the Batman. And he comes in and he's like, I know you tried to warn me. I'm sorry. And Reggie's like, it doesn't matter. There's nothing we can do now. And Dr. Manhattan's just watching the show. We're watching it. And we see that this car is about to crush this woman and her son. And Superman gets in the way and saves them. And Superman's pleading with them. It's like, whoever you are, help these people. And Malcolm Hand's like, I don't help you. I've already seen it. I've got to let things course the way they should be. And he's like, and Superman's just confused. It's like, I can't do this alone. And you see, Malcolm Hand is like, less than 4 minutes left. It's like in November 2nd, 1985. I remember this feeling. Millions will die, a complicated prospect of a peace brought to an unhinged world. Killing Walter Kovacs, I became part of that lie. And we see that this is the squid monster that Ozymandias had, pulled out. Meanwhile, Lex and Lois saying, you know the way out. It's like, what do you expect me to do? Write your article, inform the world, tell them our very history has been altered by a force beyond our universe. It's like, to accomplish what? Panicking people? To tell people I was the one who uncovered it. I want credit for my work. Now, if you'll excuse me, Lois. My goodness. Lex is still Lex. I have a meeting with somebody. Meanwhile, the comedian, Mime, and Marionette are having a good old jolly time with the chaos. And he's like saying, yo, man, pull over. And he's like, yeah, you wish. And they're still doing chaos. So you believe what Dr. Manhattan does, that everything is already preordained. I read Korvac's journal too. I know who John Osterman is. You know who Rorschach is then. Know why I can't wear that mask. Byron Lewis, Mothman, my friend in the hospital, lied to me. Told me my father was getting through to Rorschach, but truth, Rorschach was getting through to him. destroyed my father. My mother died alone. See it. I always see it. You see a monster when you look at that mask, but you can take it, change it, make people see something else. That's what it sounds like your friend was trying to do, Brian. He just wanted to protect how you remembered your father. But Kovacs is like, it seems like Kovacs still had some honor. But he's always was an honorable person. And then Superman's just looking at Manhattan saying, how can you stand there doing nothing? It's like my world had a chance at peace, but after I left it, it lost it. It fell into war. It's burning even now. 12 seconds. I see nothing but darkness. I am behind the changes in your life. The loss of your mentor, the loss of mentors you've never loss of mentors you've never known, friends you've forgotten. Yeah, I caused rebirth. I caused the new 50. I helped mess up with Flashpoint. I basically wiped out the original Wally West in existence, and then it fixed itself, and he came back. I'm pretty much responsible for maybe your father's death, Pa Kent, and I've done all of this stuff. It is I, Doctor Man. I've done everything. I was probably responsible for Crisis as well, the first one. More specifically, I'm responsible for the death of your parents. I changed. Well, yeah, I changed your life, Superman, out of cold curiosity. Will you destroy me for it, or will I defend myself despite my sins? And so we see the iconic picture right here where everything is led up to this moment. Superman's getting ready. Dr. Manhattan's getting ready to see what will happen. Either he accepts his death or might have to destroy Superman. But no, Superman defends him, punches a guy who's about to attack him. It's like his flame is snuffed out. The darkness is coming, still coming. But I'm confused. It's like, why would you defend me? I don't know what to think about all this, but I do know that right now, you have a choice to make. You talk about destroying me. You talk about me destroying you, or you destroying me because all you see is beyond this is nothing. But maybe there's a third choice. And then we just see that Reggie is also trying to see that Reggie's also trying to decide what he wants to do, whether he'll carry on the Rorschach mask again. Who is she? And then Dr. Manhattan's like, she. And then we see that Manhattan feels, sadness. You're creating those photographs every step you take. I assume they're important to you. And then he remembers everything. Him getting trapped in the atomic machine, the experiment happening, him holding his watch, and then Manhattan's like, yes, she was. Maybe the darkness you see, maybe it takes everything you have to save your world. Maybe you make that choice. And so Reggie has made his choice, and he puts on Rorschach's mask again. And so we see that Black Adam. I think that Black Adam, and the other, and everybody's about to attack Superman. It's like, yes, I understand now. Everything ends. And so Manhattan kind of does something. We see Lex and Lois. We see Mime and Marionette. We see Batman, Alfred, and Reggie. We see this guy with the Green Lantern battery. See Ozymandias kind of expecting something. See Superman. And then everything goes black and black and black and black. And then we see a spark, which is a Krypton. And then we see him telling the history. It begins with a child. He goes on to it. He passes all the planets. And I think that it crash landed billions of years ago. And then for some reason, well, I don't know. It just seems like it's too dangerous for you to show yourself to the world. So basically, they go through the same history with his father. It's like they've never seen anything like it, Clark. A lot of them would die. It's like it's July 16th, 1940. I moved this lantern 6 inches out of. It's like he basically, Alan Scott never existed, but then he starts making amends. Like, okay, then before on July 16th, 1940, yeah, I moved the lantern out of 6 inches out of engineer Alan Scott's reach. He dies as the train careers off the bridge. But I move it back. It's like they've seen people with extraordinary abilities before, Clark. When I was born, my father used to tell me stories of the Justice Society of America, wartime heroes who made us feel safe and inspired to do so. But that was decades ago. Yeah. So if you're telling me that you're ready to go out there and show everyone what you can do, the world is ready too, Clark. And said, thanks, Pa. Now go ask Lana about that dance. Yes, I will, Pa. And then, of course, we see that the car crash that killed his parents. It's like, I'm so worried about Clark. He has me and you. We won't be around forever, Jonathan. And then, of course, the car crash comes. Then we see that Superman. It's like, inspired by heroes of the past, Clark Kent steps to the light. Is that our son? Because of Just Society exists again, so does Superboy. And you saved us, Clark. You look so handsome. Thanks a lot. And because Superboy exists again, so does the Legion. So the Legion is brought back, thanks to Dr. Manhattan. After the metaverse reforms, time catches up. It is now. And then we just see that we see that 1,000 years from now, a young girl saves the life of an intergalactic philanthropist, R.J. Brand. On the 17th, on July 7th, 1917, John L. Thunder is born and kidnapped to Banisha. You've been searching for the genie this whole time when you forgot. Forgot? You became the Thunderbolt, remember? I did, didn't I? So he was Thunderbolt. She goes back to her time. See you, like her ring, the old man. What are you doing, John? The future and the past are free. And so meanwhile Superman is still getting beat up. It's like grief, there he is. A little telepathic push will clear them. Who? You remember us now, don't you, Cal? Imra. Sorry we're late. We see that the Justice Society of America. This is very nice. We see Alan Scott. We see Mr. Terrific. We see Stargirl. We see Power Girl is back. After, if you remember, a long time ago in Deathstroke, that Power Girl with the other Power Girl were trapped. But I guess those two are free now. Who else we got? We got dang, why am I forgetting the first Flash's name? Uh, but we see that he's back. We see all the Legionnaires back. Um, looks very good. Hawkman's back. Looks very nice. This is a very nice picture, man. I really love it. We see Wildcat, and I think this is another Wildcat, and this is Thunderbolt. It's like, give him a taste of your own medicine, Johnny. And it's like, you got it, pal. So serves you right, you big bully. So we got, everybody see this girl Soul Taker. See tomorrow, the Man of Tomorrow, and for the first time, I am inspired. Dr. Manhattan is inspired by Superman, which makes sense. So okay, this April 18th, 1938, Meadow Lines, as Superman lifts a 1937 Ford over his head, revealing himself to Metropolis. Decades later, a police scientist is struck by lightning, and the birth of the Speed Force rattles the metaverse, which would be the Flash. Superman's timeline shifts forward and divides for the first time, creating the multiverse. Earth 2 is born. With Earth 2, you have Huntress, you have Alan Scott, Dr. Fate, Wonder Woman, Hawkman, Wildcat, Power Girl, Robin, Batman, and why am I forgetting his name? Oh, you've got to hold on. Why am I forgetting his name? Oh. So after the greatest crisis, after the first and greatest crisis, we see that this is the crisis of two Earths, and we see that after that, Earth 1 becomes Earth 1985, a world even unexplored today, and now I understand why these exist. Every time there's a change in the metaverse, the multiverse grows to preserve every era of Superman. More are created over the years, including one because of my interference. So we see that this is kind of an Earth that we know. Green Arrow, Black Canary, Wonder Woman, Batman. I think this is now Wally West Flash, Superman, John Stewart, Supergirl, Batgirl, Zatanna, Red Tornado. After the Flashpoint and this rebirth, Earth 52 is out there. And I look beyond, which is the new 52 Earth. The new 52 Earth, man. Let me see. In the year 2020, Superman's timeline is bombarded by the reckless energies of old gods, once again warping the multiverse. It's July 2nd, 2025. A crisis unlike the metaverse has seen. One they will call Time Masters erupts. But in its wake, Superman is revitalized, and his greatest allies return. So, I'm hearing things about 5G, but I think that Superman will remain Superman. And so I think this is Batwing, Supergirl, Alan Scott. You see all the Green Lanterns, John Stewart, Hal Jordan, Guy Gardner. You see the other. Why am I forgetting her name? We see Thunderbolt here. We see Donna Troy back. We see Nightwing is back. See Barry Allen, Wally West, Kid Flash, Aqualad, Aquaman. Everybody's coming back. It is January 2026. The timelines are served, and Earth 5G is born. So here's the thing. Interesting. So it is June 17th, 2026. Superman goes on a quest to find Bruce Wayne's lost daughter, so she can save Bruce's son. It is July 10th, 2030. The secret crisis begins, throwing Superman into a brawl across the universe with Thor. In a green behemoth stronger than even Doomsday, who dies protecting Superman from these invaders. In its wake, Superman timeline shifts again. It is April 18th, 2038. Superman appears in public for the first time. 22 years earlier, the Kent's prayers for a child are answered. And when a rocket lands on their farm, Superman's timeline shifts towards again it's 2038 and marks a different date. Jonathan, Martha, and their baby Colin would find the boy who would one day become Superman. And the rocket arrives again in the year 2045, and delivering Kent's the only child. The rocket, they'll discover a 3-year-old daughter named Clara. In 2965, Superman appears in Metropolis for the first time. But yeah, pretty much, the story is that the story is pretty much that Superman will never die. I don't know how they're going to do it. I kind of hope that. Hold on. Like I was saying, don't know how they're going to do it, but yeah, Superman. It's like the rocket arrives, a child is loved, Superman is made. Now understand Superman's true purpose. He will show them the way. And in a millennium, when his timeline converges with the legions, mankind finally embraced the ways of Superman. He is the bridge stretching across generations that will lead everyone to peace. And so we see that Lois said, between what I learned from Lex pontificating, which took all the patience in the world, and this, thank you, Bruce. Then Wonder Woman arrives, fight along the Justice Society of America. See everything, and then we just see that Batman catches up with Ozymandias with Reggie. It's like, did what exactly? Everything we needed to clear Superman's name was on your ship. Yes, I know. I left it for you to find and give to his wife, no doubt. It's all gone according to plan. But don't worry, bosses. It's only John. Let him summon us. And we see that John, Dr. Manhattan summons both Marionite and Mime and the comedian. And here they are, the Washington Monuments. And then we just see Dr. Manhattan's like, I know what you've done, Adrian. I'd expect nothing less by this point in the game, John. Once I learned about your vision of Superman and Superman himself, it was rather a simple initiative. If I couldn't convince you to use your powers to save our world, I was certain he would. All I had to do was arrange the confrontation. So let's go home. Everyone lives today. Not because my man gets shot. So, but anyway, it's an interesting plan that it was Ozymandias who pretty much had Dr. Manhattan say, hey, I needed Superman to pretty much pull out the hope in you to restore our world. Except maybe you, Vate, as well, yeah, that. Not for you two clowns. And he's about to kill Miriam and Marionette and then we just see Lex saying, I'll use that language often myself, but it's appropriate. You know, trying to not say it. But we see that he's repaying him back for when my man shot him. It's like, what did you do? I am negating the vibrational frequency that brought you here. I'm sending you back to wherever you came from. No. It's like, we just see, no, Manhattan, you SOB, this can't be how it ends. But we see that the comedian returns back to whence he came, and he is now back to the dead. Right out of the window that he was thrown out of. And then we just see Reggie 2.0. It's like we just see Reggie come, and then we just see Ozymandias saying, "We all get what we want, Reggie. I die a hero. John gets purpose. You get revenge." And then Reggie's like, "Don't want revenge. Want justice." And so he puts his hand on the wounds, like, "I want to stop the bleeding." It's like, you live, pay for your crimes, rot in prison. It's like, and he's like, you're not Rorschach. It's like, no, Rorschach is me, which is true. Meanwhile, um, we see Dr. Manhattan saying, Erica Manson, you and Marco Mayes are not coming with us. It's like, what? We were promised we'd get our son back, which was true at the beginning of the book. That's why they're here in the first place. We want our son back. You have a daughter on the way. As for your son, my plan is that you'll see each other again. He will need an anchor here. as I did. An anchor. I see the light now. I see my final purpose. April 18th, 1954. My anchor sits in a diner, nervous, trembling. It is 1 second after my annual conversation with Carver Coleman. I'm not going to be here a year from now? What does that even mean? I'm sorry I didn't explain myself better. It's like, John, you're back? It's like, it is I who will not be around. I don't understand. I haven't been a very good friend, Carver, but I can see so many futures now. Make a good choice. Don't be afraid of what you feel. It's not who wins or loses, it's how you played the game. And that concludes our annual marathon in the, well, yes, late star, off the late star Carver Coleman. And so basically, we see that basically facing blackmail, Carver Coleman came out to the public in 1954 before the release of the final Nathaniel Dusk film, The Adjournment. Shamar student who became a recluse for years, losing his home. He almost ended up back on the streets. But Carver Coleman returned to acting in the mid 1960s, going to win an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for Fred Koh's A Thousand Clowns. In 1973, he was instrumental in getting, that. Then he did all this, but basically did all of that. Don't be afraid of what you feel. This is Alicia from TSM. Thanks for the watch. So yeah, the arrival of the Justice League and their allies from Mars, announcing the latest interdimensional threat that frames Superman has been neutralized. Yeah. Justice Society of America will be investigating the Department of Meta-Human Affairs actions involving their so-called Superman theory. As someone who survived Joe McCarthy's Inquisition, I ask all of you for patience as we uncover the work. So we see that, yeah. So Martin Stein was arrested, except for his role in the creation of dozens of metahumans against their will. Firestorm, Killer Frost, the Hyena. So yeah, back a couple of issues ago, it was found out that Firestorm was made that way against his will, including Killer Frost. Up next, the 1950s classic The Silver Blade, starring Jonathan Lord and Sandra Statham. So we just see Amanda Waller leading talks of impeachment. Oh my gosh. Claiming the president supported Director Stein's program and had first-hand knowledge of that. You see that Ronnie Raymond is receiving treatment at the All-Star Clinic. Dialogue between the People's Heroes and the Justice League of America has begun thanks to Superman. Calls by Wonder Woman for a new iteration of the dormant Global Guardians to be formed in the wake of. Indy has agreed to designate a member of the Doomed to Japan's heroes joining Israel, Australia, discuss Kandak's future. Meanwhile, we just see Lois and Clark talking. Then we see that Batman has decided to keep Rorschach's journal and learn anything interesting. Clark, cat got your tongue, and then we just see that. Guess this is our little nest now, lover. You drive. So they're getting settled into this world. So we're going to see more of Mime and Marionette in the DC universe, which is not bad. Sick. No, Lewis. Just thought there was such a long road ahead. Well, no one said you could blink and make everything perfect. Meanwhile, Lex Luthor's like saying Levette had the right idea, but it can be improved. So we'll see what he's planning. It's like the world's more connected than ever before, but it's never been so divided. People are choosing sides instead of extending their hands, but it's not too late. You did it. You reached out to him. You changed him, and he'll change someone now too. Don't you think? Because if you have faith in that, I hope there's all of us. There's the boy I know. And then we just see that, Mom and Pa Kent are alive and well. They're back. And, it's good to see good family. It'd be nice to see John de-aged to enjoy his grandparents, but, who am I to say anything? I affected this world, and now he will affect mine. It is November 22nd, 1992. Vade's plan has blown up in the world's face, pretty much literally. The ash is still warm under my feet. It is 1945. The clocks find the air. It is 1959. I fix Janie's watch. It is 1998, 92, and I see a light. So, marks my hand starting to heal the world. And we see that he goes to Brian Lewis's gravestone. Reggie, he thanks him for everything. It is March 1993. Vade's headquarters has become his prison. Every day after his school, a young orphan named Cleopatra Pack stands outside, obsessed with the rise and fall of Ozymandias. On her 16th birthday, with a fully grown Bobastis by her side, Miss Pack will call herself nostalgia. Life doesn't stop, but it needs love. So we see that back in the as callous and cruel as Erica Manson and Marcos Mayes can be, the love between them is real. What about Anita after your mother? 8 months from now, Anita Mays will be born. It is 1984. Marionette and Mime are robbing a bank a mile from Rockefeller. Alerted I go to confront them. I hesitate to kill them because I see their son's future. He will bring great happiness to a woman I care about. Yet the details of how and why are unclear to me. And so this is when he basically took her child. I blame my vision for my recent experiments involving the dialectical unity principle and give it a little more thought. I now realize that blind spot to the child's future, is pretty much me. We see that on June 8th, 1984, I hold the child in my arms. He looks up at me. The sun is caressing his face. It is 1945. It's 1946, 1947, 1948. My father is more worried about my future than my present. I inherit that. I can never be the hero this world needs because I didn't have what Superman did. It's like he didn't have like a loving family, pretty much. Named after the Greek hero who rescued his mother. Look, John, a falling star. Shall I make a wish? I believe in wishes again. Destiny is not without a guiding hand. My mind wanders back to August 1959, to what could have been. And then we just see him remembering Janie. We finish lunch. I give Janie her watch. After work, she puts it in her pocket, her lips upon mine. 6 months later, we are married. 3 years later, our daughter is born, followed by another the next year, and our son 4 years later. It was a nice Jane Dream to live in. A final thought as I give the last of my power to this world and this child, so that this planet has a protector who will receive, love, and return it. I encourage all of you to stop and smell the roses. So there's this Hollis family. We just see talking about whether Dr. Manhattan is responsible. This is still we still that the Doomsday clock has been reset, and then we see that, oh, can I help you? I'm sorry, my brother bother you, but my mom and dad dropped me off. Your stuff they said you know what to do. My mom and dad make you pancakes for lunch. Do you want some? My name is Sally. Say, what's yours? And we just see John calls me Clark. And we see that that is the end. Every child comes with a message that God is not yet discouraged of man. That's a beautiful that's a beautiful quote. And I'll end it there. So I know that this I liked it. I thought it was a nice end. It's very complicated. I got it. Basically, they're going to be the few. All I can say is that I hope DC knows what it's doing. But for those who maybe didn't like the Watchmen TV series, I think this is a little bit more in the Watchmen realm where you're dealing with an ultimate power. You're dealing with things that make no sense, supernatural kind of things. But it's nice to see that, the Watchmen universe has kind of been set back into its time, because comedian's still dead. But this time, Ozymandias has you know, received his own punishment. Though I wonder, with him being in prison, does that kind of tie into the Watchmen show? But this is, I'll give this a good 8.5 out of 10. I think it was nice. I think it was well done. You know, it's been 2 years, and we all thought this was probably end last year. But I guess there's a reason for everything. With the 5G thing, though, it seems that we will not see it for quite some time, hopefully. And the way that this book shows is that Superman will still be Superman because, as Dr. Manhattan mentioned, that Superman is pretty much the thing that connects them. So, and it's still named Clark, and it's still the Kents picking him up. But even then, I have my reservations about different types of Kents coming in. Sometimes we don't need to refocus on everything, just got to keep pushing it through. So yeah, I'm worried. I can't say that I'm not worried about moving moving from the DC universe because sometimes timelines don't be making sense. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So thank y'all for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the notifications. Make sure you're notified. Once again, I do these reviews for you, the people. So let's discuss good comics and get your views on them. Thank y'all for watching. And I'll have definitely more videos up later today. Peace.